Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your man, Donnell Taylor, a.k.a. Small Guy Promotions, coming to you live with What's Up Omaha, with our wonderful guest, Becky Jolly.
What's up?
What's up? Of Elephant Key Marketing. Can you guys see us okay? I hope so.
I hope so, too.
Let's see.
We're having some...
There we go.
That's better.
I don't know. We're outside. We decided we would try to come outside today, so bear with us. Trying to make sure this picture looks all right, but I don't know.
Got that beautiful fall weather. We have to get in it.
I know, right?
Yeah. I don't know if that looks better, but I don't know if it's actually like the lighting or if it's just the way we can see the screen.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's bright out here. That's what happens when you just shoot from your phone. But anyway,
we go with it.
Yeah, we're just gonna go with
just
it.
Go
like
with
you know. Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, I'm not trying to do. Look. That's cool. You can put up teams. Sorry, guys. I know this is live, but I'm looking at these different filters that you can put up. We got Michigan, Ohio State. Sorry. Anyway, let's get rid of that. We don't want that.
There we go.
All right, so
we're gonna be college sport neutral today.
Well,
I'm gonna be college sport neutral. Go
right,
every team.
Go every team. Man, this is just, boy.
I feel like that was good. Like right there.
Yeah.
Tell us in the comments if you're watching.
Yeah, if you happen to see this and you can't see us, let us know.
Yeah.
But
otherwise we'll fix it in post.
Yeah, well, maybe, whatever. But Becky Jolly of Elephant Key Marketing.
Hello.
It's a wonderful Friday.
Beautiful Friday.
Beautiful outside. I mean,
gorgeous weather.
Yes, I wish it could stay like this all the time.
Right? I'm down. If anybody else is down.
Yep, sweatshirt weather. You got the sweatshirt on. She's got a jacket on.
Got my blazer going. So I'm running for Senate, apparently.
You need a button.
Oh, I do. Ooh, I need a slogan. That'll be fun.
But so the reason, if you've not seen any of our What's Up Omaha interviews, the whole theme of the interviews is just to raise awareness about local people and organizations doing great work out in the community.
Aww.
So Becky Jolly, we actually got into contact from a mutual contact.
Good old
Winston. Win Clay.
Oh, he's the coolest guy.
Yeah.
You could just say he's the kind of guy you can just hang out with for like hours.
I'll make sure to tag him in this when we get done.
Please do. Let's tag him in that.
We will.
Okay.
But so through Win, he dropped my name. Hey, what up, Bryce? He dropped my name somehow in conversation with you. And
yep.
You hit me up, and we met and we hit it off right away. I feel like.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was a really cool conversation. I always love to meet new people who I can just hang out with and have fun conversations and talk about interesting things.
Yeah, and we probably talked for like an hour.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
And now since we've met initially, we found out that we have a couple of mutual contacts aside from Win and whatnot. So small Omaha is what I always say. So that is definitely the key to what could be your success around this area.
True story. It is. I did not realize how small of a town it was until actually, really, I met you.
Yeah.
And I started to find out that we had all these mutual connections, and like people have found me through your Facebook now that like
really
I had been friends with 5 years ago.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So it is. It's a really amazing place to live because you can kind of build those great connections and just keep your network going.
It's all about connections. You can't burn bridges in Omaha.
No, it's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's you can. It's your choice, freedom of choice. But you probably should not burn any bridges in Omaha.
I concur.
That's just, But, so yeah, since we had such a great conversation, I wanted to make sure to ask Becky if she would be interested in coming on to What's Up Omaha and talking a little bit about, Elephant Key Marketing and what it is that you do and how you help local entrepreneurs around the city. So how long have you been doing Elephant Key and how did you get your start?
That's a really good question. I started doing social media marketing, I'm moving the table, for a local company 6 years ago.
Okay.
So it's been maybe even a little bit more than that, maybe 6.5 years. And about 2017, or 2014, excuse me, I started working with Winston Clay and then his wife Ginger, who's my primary boss, and we started working together. And then in January of 2016, So it's been almost 3 years.
Okay.
I went solo, as they say.
Yeah.
I started my solo career, and I started Elephant Key Marketing as a way to, I was just getting so many requests to do things, side projects and things, and I'm truly, truly passionate about helping businesses leverage their social media marketing. And I see so many people who, they know it's a great tool, they want to use it, they want to be involved, they want to build that community, and they just don't have the expertise or the experience. And as you know, somebody who, you are just bebopping all over the place.
I try to get around. Well, I mean, around the city, I try to. That's what I meant. I didn't mean anything else.
Mandy and Bryce know what you mean. You guys know,
what up,
right?
Mandy?
But like a lot of small business owners, a lot of people who have side hustles, who have projects, who are really passionate about what they do, they don't have the time it takes to really learn about everything that social media can do.
Or they think they don't have the time.
Yeah, and I think there is a very real issue when you own a business with finding enough time to do everything.
Yeah, I mean, because you gotta, we talk about Gary Vaynerchuk. We already were talking about him today, but sometimes I find myself as a small business owner and employee having to stay up late nights sometimes to do things, to send emails or whatever it is.
Yep.
It's kind of a tiring thing, so it is nice to have.
Well, it is, and it's not just about the fact that like I do a lot of different levels of engagement with my clients. So everything from, if you just want a monthly coaching situation to you want somebody to take it over. Mm-hmm. So even if a business owner has the time, they don't necessarily have the expertise or the knowledge to know like what's the best use of my time. So if I have an hour, 2 hours a week to devote to this, what's the best use of that time that's going to get the most return on investment?
Yep.
And so that's kind of where I come in and just try to help them direct their energy to what's going to make the biggest impact for their organization.
Yeah.
So it's not just, I'm spending time on it. Am I spending my time on this and I'm doing the right things, doing well?
Yep.
Spending that time well.
And sometimes it's a trial and error type of thing.
Oh, for sure.
What works for one business might not work for another business. Maybe one platform is more beneficial to one business more than it would be to another business. So trial and error. I assume that you would help with that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And a big part of it is just kind of figuring out what that business wants to do. And I'm especially passionate about helping women entrepreneurs. I love, every entrepreneur. I think that we all kind of are in this together, and we have to be on each other's teams.
Girl power.
But I don't know. I feel like it's just a little bit easier in terms of like we just get on the same page faster. Mm-hmm. And I'm just really passionate about helping them figure out who they are as a business, and then how we can communicate that to other people on social.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing. Did you always have that vision, even when you were first starting out? Is that what you thought that you would be doing?
No. I think that that's a good thing, though. I think as you, so I don't know if anybody's familiar with Matthew Hussey. He's kind of another Gary Vee. He's just in a slightly different space, and he is kind of a life coach and mentor. And he talks about how you have to get the car moving, and then you can steer.
Yep.
So what we try to do as business owners a lot of times is see around corners before we're there. And so you have to get that car moving and get the process started, and then that's really where you learn. And it's like if you're on the highway and you need to switch lanes, you don't have to turn your steering wheel 90 degrees. It's just barely you turn it a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're in a new lane. Mm-hmm. So the faster you get that car moving, the less you have to steer to make a big impact. So it's just all about figuring out that process.
And I actually just made a video earlier this week, I believe on Monday. You were saying, sometimes you just got to get the car started. Mm-hmm. And that was I didn't say it in that way, but I was saying that don't let the fact that you don't know what you're doing stop you from doing it, because how else will you learn? Just go out and do it.
Yes.
You're going to fall, you're going to fail.
Yes.
But that's all right. Those are learning opportunities.
Yeah.
And that's how I didn't know anything about marketing or advertising. I still don't know anything about marketing or advertising.
I don't know if that's true.
But I had a hunger for helping people. I knew that I didn't call it a network, but I knew that I knew a lot of people especially some business owners. So I thought, how can I help some of these business owners keep their doors open?
Yeah.
What can I do? So that's
exactly
how
right.
Small Guy Promotions came to be. That, that was a major player, a major reason in how it happened. So
So cool.
sometimes you just got to do it. You
Yeah.
just got to do it.
I think that's one of the things that I'm actually passionate about teaching business owners, is that failure is a good thing, because there will always be something you take away from it. And it's like when you're learning how to walk. For that, I mean, we've all heard this analogy before, but like when you're learning how to walk, you fall down, but you learn something about it, and then you get back up. And we don't, like, when a baby falls, we don't say, "Oh, better not ever walk again."
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I talked about that in the past as well. Like, why, as adults, do we stop dreaming and trying different things? Because if we were a baby that would never try anything, like, what would life be if you never tried anything?
Yeah, it's like
Challenge yourself.
it's like they like when you if you have kids, any of you out there who are watching, if you I know you have some adorable kids, and if you bought them a skateboard, would you ever in a million years buy them a skateboard without buying them a helmet and knee pads? Because you expect that failure as a part of the learning process. So why we don't apply that same philosophy of like, yeah, we're gonna fall and that's okay.
Yep. And for me, I like to tie everything into food and jujitsu. Challenging yourself, and like, there's some things that I'm probably not gonna try food wise, but I do try to be a little more adventurous.
Sure.
Especially a kicker for me was sushi.
Okay.
Because when I was probably 17, 18, I tried sushi at a buffet, a free buffet, like not a free buffet, but a all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah, so.
In Bellevue, and I did not like it at all. I was like, that's not good. So for years, one of my best friends had tried to talk my wife and I into going out and having sushi. And I'm like, no, man, I'm not eating sushi. Like, that stuff is gross. I'm not trying sushi. And he said, I tell you what, him and his wife, they took my wife and I to Sakurabana on 72nd, or like 78th and Dodge, 76th and Dodge. And he said, I tell you what, we'll pay for dinner. You don't have to worry about it. That way you don't have to be worried about not liking something.
Right.
We'll pay for it. You just try a couple of things. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's fine.
So awesome.
Oh, man. I should start playing that as a trick on people. No, I've never tried sushi. You want to take me out? Hey, take me out to try it.
Who is this friend? I've never had it either. Definitely never been to Sakurabana and had their what's the like the ice cream? Do you know what I'm talking about? That's
the bubble tea stuff?
No, it's like totally having a disconnect because it's Friday. It's like the ice cream that's like chewy on the outside.
The fried ice cream?
No, it's a thing.
I don't know.
I'm gonna Google it, and we're gonna put it in the notes because you guys know it. People don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know, but I mean, ice cream, I'm in. So
yeah, it's like,
just let me know.
It's like a frozen dessert. It's like a lot of like Asian restaurants, they have a frozen dessert, and you can get like green tea or mango, and it's kind of chewy.
Not the rice, right?
There actually might be rice involved.
Oh, well, I don't know, but you let me know.
Okay, well that's next on your list, and I will take you. But we're gonna go Dutch. I'm not gonna pay for you.
Okay,
but
right.
I'll take you.
All right, cool. Well, and from that visit, we fell in love with sushi.
So amazing.
The soft shell crab and whatever else. Oh, it was good. It was really good.
Yeah.
So since then, I've been all about, I'll eat some sushi. Yeah, let's go. So that's how you have to be as an adult. Like, don't be afraid to grow. There's still plenty of room to grow. I have a mentor at work. Last year I was working with the Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I was emceeing their event, and I told them, I said, you're never too old for a mentor.
Oh no.
Like, I'm 36 years old and I have a mentor. Like, it doesn't stop just because you are no longer a child.
Yeah.
There's always room to grow and be better. There's things that you can do. Why ever settle for just being who you are now?
Well, and I think, like, if you think about it this way, over the last like 3 years, really since Matthew Hussey kind of came into my life and I became more aware of his brand, I have gotten so much more into the power of coaching. Like Tiger Woods has a golf coach. You know, top level athletes, top tier athletes have coaching.
Yep, trainers,
Yeah, so they're not just like, I'm really good at this, so I'm going to stop coaching this area. They're like, that's when they get better coaches, and you level up your coaches, but you still keep having that support system because it allows you to focus in a way that you can't necessarily focus and just direct your energy correctly. And then also when you're so close to your business and you're so passionate about it and you're working 60, 70-hour weeks, it's really hard to get like that bird's eye view and have an objective kind of view or opinion about what's happening. So it helps to have somebody who's kind of external, who's not as invested, to help guide you in the right direction and like ask questions that maybe your employees don't want to ask you about your practices, or bring something up that's a difficult conversation. So I concur.
And just so you guys know, and this came up in one of the videos that I actually watched today of Gary Vee, once you make it, that's when the work actually really starts. Like once you make it, like you don't just make it and stop. So tying back to the athletes and having trainers, like you don't just reach the ultimate level and then just stop. Like if you stop, you're just gonna go on a decline. Like if you want to stay on the incline, you got to keep working. So that's when the real work starts. When you're small and you can make those mistakes that kind of go unnoticed and fly under the radar, that's the great time to have those mistakes.
Absolutely.
As opposed to when you do get bigger and you have those mistakes and you've never dealt with that issue before.
Absolutely.
Or maybe not even that issue, and any issues in general. Like it's good to have those falls that the baby would have when you're first starting out.
Totally agree. And I also think that, and this is a philosophy that I've just kind of come up with over the last few weeks, but I firmly believe it, is that struggle, those mistakes, like what you had to do to pick yourself back up, that's what prepares you for success. So if you kind of could take your business to the level that you want to have it at ultimately tomorrow, you wouldn't necessarily be prepared to handle that at the same level you will be once you are able to make those mistakes, learn from them, bring in coaching, think about kind of all the different ways you can do things and all the things that you've tried and you that have worked or that you tried and haven't worked. That's really what prepares you to when you get to the level that you want to be at, to maintain it and to be the best you can even at that level.
And I feel like you appreciate it so much more when you have that experience to grow off of. As opposed to something being handed to you. That's your blood, sweat, and tears that you put into that.
That's all right.
So, wear it as a badge of honor.
And every person who's ever owned a business knows that you're going to bleed, and you're going to sweat, and you're going to cry.
The whole do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life, that's not really accurate. I mean, it's still working. We talked about it in my interview with our sensei from 10th Planet, Derek Stewart. I asked him that question. I said, is it true that when you do something that you love, you don't work a day in your life? He's like, that's definitely not true. He's like, you might work even more. Like it's just the fact that you're doing something that you have a passion for. And that you're doing it for yourself, and you're not doing it for like someone else. You're not working towards someone else's dream. So right. And
there's a different level, I think, of emotional energy when you're passionate about something that helps get you through all the other crap that comes with it that's not your passion, right? Because if you have something that you love and that you are super passionate about doing, that's amazing. But there's going to be 95% of it that's employees and managing admin stuff and all of those things that are not things that you necessarily love, but you just have that emotional energy that carries you. So I think it's really cool because you just remember why you're doing it. So I think it's really cool.
So let's get to the actual things that you do a little more as we were talking about the marketing. And is it just small businesses and organizations that you want to help, or do you want to take on, or do you take on larger clients? I have clients that are a lot of different sizes. Businesses that range from 10 employees to
Probably the biggest that I work with has about 100.
Okay.
So kind of, I would say small to medium would probably be the best way to describe that. And my role really depends on who they have on staff and what they want. So I have clients where I deal with their chief marketing officer or their director of marketing, and then I'm kind of an ancillary part, and I have my role, and then I have some clients where I handle their entire strategy. I have clients where they have somebody in place and they just want to have somebody to be more of a coach, more of a mentor, more of a leadership in that area, but they want me to really train their staff so their staff can continue to do the work and be, have their ears to the ground in the business. And I have some clients who are like, just take it. You take the whole thing and you drive it. So
when you do, teach up those employees, are you then in like an advisory role after that point, or you just cut them loose and say, okay, grasshopper, I've taught you the key to success? Like, how does that work?
And again, it really depends on what the client needs. So sometimes they pick it up really fast and they have a marketing background. Maybe they didn't ever necessarily work with social before, so they just need a few months to get trained up. And sometimes they need somebody, like they need that level of accountability, like having an accountability partner. And we get on the phone every month and we look at analytics, we look at numbers, and I say, this is where I think we have opportunities. Here's what's coming up. Tell me what you guys are doing in your business.
It's really catered, like you said, to the company. It's not a one-size-fits-all type of deal.
Absolutely not, because there's not, like you said earlier, no company's the same. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to have the same target market. And the other thing we have to keep in mind is that we're not talking about an industry or a medium that stands still.
Yeah.
Social is always changing, always evolving.
Always something new. Always something new.
So, and even if it's just a matter of me, like, shooting off an email or having a quick, like, okay, this is a 6-month checkup, I always want to make sure that they're continuing to use the tools that I've put in place in the best way possible, and that's meeting the changing or the evolving status of the social media platforms that they're working with.
Yeah. And so that you guys know, like, Small Guy Promotions, like, I try to help some businesses, but I'm not like a marketer, like, on that level. That's not me. I say what I do is I'm just here for the person that doesn't want to do any social media. They feel like they don't have time for it, or they just don't want to learn. It's just not something that they know that's not one of their strong suits, and they don't want to do it. Yeah. So this right here is where I really shine. It's just interacting with people. Absolutely. So that's my key. But just as we talked about before we started the video, just creating, trying to put stuff out there sometimes. Yeah. And that's what it is. Like, you'll see, I have a Better Than Retail shirt on right now. Just throw that out there. That's one of my current clients.
Looks fantastic.
And Jason does not like being on camera.
So yeah, it's an understandable hesitation that a lot of people have. Yeah. And I have some clients who it would take dynamite to blast them in front of a camera.
Yeah, he wants no parts of it.
And that's totally fine. But I also have clients who, like, they just take a little bit of coaching, they need a little bit of practice, and then they're great. Mm-hmm. So it just really depends on the person. And if a client is firmly, they won't go on camera, first of all, I feel like there's this big, what's the phrase I'm looking for?
Stigma?
No.
No?
No, but I like that you just jumped in there. There's this need to be perfect about things. We have this idea that we're going to be on camera perfectly, and it's about having like perfect production.
Notion type
Yeah. Like, there's just this there's this idea that we need to do things perfectly and polished and.
No. This video is not polished.
No.
We're outside, and I don't have one of the lighting things that you use. No, it's just on the phone.
No, but that's what I always tell my clients is that it's better to get out there and show who you are. First of all, people like that they're buying from real people. Yep. People buy from people. They don't buy from logos. They don't buy from the best produced, slickest commercial. They buy from the person in the commercial.
You have to be able to relate and connect on some level, and that's what it's ultimately about. And so for Jason and Better Than Retail, what we do is I go there every Saturday well, I try to make it every Saturday, and we go and we do a Facebook Live video, and we talk about new shipments that they've received and some of their items or some of the deals that they have going on.
I think I saw that last week. I think you were talking about art supplies.
Yeah, and I actually bought some of those. Well, I did the video, left, and came back and bought some.
I was very intrigued.
It's really a great thing, and I hope to, get him the assistance that he needs, and maybe that's something that we could always talk about too. That's why it's great to know people, because everybody doesn't have the same set of skills and the same strong points.
Yeah.
So it's good to have a circle of positive people who maybe know a little something different than what you know. That's what makes you well-rounded. Absolutely,
and I think it's all about getting different ideas. I've had some clients where the best ideas that we had for a post came from somebody who would never in a million years say, I'm a marketer, but they said something really funny, and I was like, oh, that's smart. That matches what your target market is looking for. That provides the value that we're looking for. That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So everybody can contribute. It just depends on what level and what you're comfortable with.
And the thing about it is, with marketing, you never know what actually is going to stick.
Yes.
Or what will get attention. So I find sometimes that I might make a serious post, and I might be asking for help or something like that, and I might get a couple of hits. But I make a silly video about something. So this is what happened on Twitter. I probably have about 1,900 followers on Twitter.
Sure.
How many of them are like actually live followers? I don't know.
Right.
But I'll get a couple of hits. Well, there was a Budweiser and I think Burger King had this little conversation on Twitter going back and forth. So like Burger King was calling Budweiser and was like, what? Back in the 90s or early 2000s, they had the whole what's up thing.
What's up?
And yeah, what's up? And then it ended up being in like the Scary Movie with like the Wayans brothers and stuff.
Yep.
Well, so they were going back and forth, just the two companies, the two Twitter accounts, and I jumped in there and said something like, I put a GIF in there and said, I think it said, what? Or something like that. It was a girl saying, I don't know what's going on. I said, young folks are probably like, what? So for me commenting on that thread, I kept getting all these notifications on Twitter, and I'm thinking, what the heck is going on? I look, and there's like 50,000 people for the reach, and like I don't know how many thousands actual engagement, and I'm like, of all the stuff that I tweet out or whatever, that is what like gets all this attention. I've got all these people responding, so I know what it's from. And it's funny because all the young people thought it was from Scary Movie. They didn't know it was from the Budweiser.
The original story.
They thought they knew.
That's so
they
funny.
Thought they knew. So you never know. It's all about trying different things.
No, and it's really cool. I heard this great analogy from, I have a business coach who works in marketing. What's up, Alex? He's super cool. Anyway, he gave me this whole, if you have a rope laying on the ground and you pull one end of it up, so let's pretend like, looks like we're...
What is it? That happens like, maybe I'm connected to them.
Okay.
But we're gonna cancel out.
Oh, okay, we're back. I was just gonna floor you guys. So
we had to increase the drama.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you for waiting. So here's a really great analogy where if you have this rope, right, and it's laying on the ground, and you pick one end of it up. So let's pretend like this end of the rope that you picked up is that one post that did like so much better than all of your other posts. It still boosts, it still lifts the rest of the rope up. So that means that the rest of your posts are going to be elevated in terms of their impressions, in terms of how many people see them, how many interactions they're going to get, how many eyeballs they get in front of.
Yeah.
Which is, I said the same thing like 3 times, but but you know what I mean? So even if you have a post like that doesn't necessarily contribute to your business goals, it's going to help elevate the rest of your posts that are connected.
Awareness. It's all about awareness.
Yes. Yeah. Getting in front of those people. So the more we can do that and find those weird, silly things that you never in a million years would have written into your strategy.
Yeah. That's how people sometimes, just random people, they make one silly post and then they're like Twitter famous.
Yes.
They're like Insta famous, whatever it is. I mean, you never know. And that's why, this is kind of a sidetrack, but that's why when I talk to youth, I try to tell them, you need to be careful about what you post because you never know. And you see it sometimes with like athletes and things where they said something, or artists, they said something 5 years ago.
James Gunn.
I don't know who that is, but...
Well, he directed the first 2 Guardians of the Galaxy movies,
okay.
and he tweeted some stuff. We don't need to get into what... 7 years ago, somebody unearthed it, and he is all kinds of fired now.
Yep, once you put it out there, it's like... No, even if you delete it, it's still out there. Like, it can be... somebody somewhere has it, and if you blow up, it might come out.
Now... Just to clarify, because I don't want to scare anybody that we've just convinced that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to like...
It is.
So if you misplace a comma or you post something that doesn't necessarily resonate with your target market, this is stuff that you probably have to intentionally do something bad. Say something
this is
really offensive, really off-putting, whatever. If you get to that level, to get to that many people seeing it and caring about it, it's not going to be like, you forgot
this
a
is like
space between the link.
Serious, like, So you just be conscious. Just take an extra minute sometimes to think about whatever it is that you're about to send before you hit the send button.
Well, and that's what I like to do, is just provide my clients with a framework. This is the type of thing I almost sometimes even do, like kind of Mad Lib formats where I'm like, this is what a post format should look like. So I like to say, problem, action, solution is a format that I like to use, where we have a problem that your customer has, here's the action they can take to provide a solution. So I like to provide that framework so they feel comfortable publishing things. They can come up and be creative and make it really authentic and genuine, because it's coming from their own knowledge and personal view, but it's also, they're able to do it in a way that's most effective, and it's going to avoid any potential issues for backlash. So I like to have that framework in place first.
Yes, make sure you're genuine, because I mean, people can smell, what they say, people can smell BS a mile away. So you have to be authentic and just be real. Like, don't just try to sell someone something. Like, actually get them, like what I try to tell people, and this is one of the things that kind of drives me crazy when I see stuff, and like I had it happen in the business group that we have on Facebook. I saw someone make a post. It was a direct salesperson. Okay. And they made a post that was nothing about the client at all. It was totally about them wanting to make a sale. And it was like, hey, and this is, it didn't even have detail about the product that the person was attempting to sell. She just said, hey, help me out. I haven't had a sale in such and such amount of time. And I was like, I'm no one. It's just my opinion. Some people might think that's okay. But if you're trying to sell to someone, again, you have to be able to relate to them on some level. You have to be able to connect. And you have to, it has to be about them. What problem are you solving for them? Yes. Not how you're solving the problems for you as the seller. You have to connect and say, that's the first thing about inventions. Like, what problem are you solving? Yes. What is there a need for that you're creating a solution to? It's not about you making a sell. So, I didn't post anything. I didn't comment on that post directly, but I sent the person a message, and they never responded. But I just said, hey, just so you know, I'm the coordinator of the group, and I saw this post that you made, and I just kind of wanted to throw this out there. Like, I'm sorry. I hope you don't take this the wrong way, right. But I just said that to her. Like, it needs to be about the person on the other end. Yes. So and I just wrote a blog article about this week before last. So if you click to follow Elephant Key Marketing, you will see that blog post, which is the number one mistake I see on social media, which is businesses are consistently making the story about the business, and you want to make the story about your customer. Yes. Tell their story back to them, and then provide a solution to a pain point. Yes. So you want to make it centric on that, because maybe she did close the sale, or he. I actually don't remember if you said it was a man or woman. It was a woman.
regardless, he or she, maybe they did make a sale, but that's not necessarily the kind of sale that you want to make. You don't want to make a sale where somebody's doing you a favor.
Yeah.
You want to make a sale where you're helping somebody out, because that's how you kind of build those repeat customers who come back and back again, and you create raving
word of
fans.
mouth. And,
yes.
I mean,
yes, you get referrals, so you make it about the customer. Tell the customer story back to them.
yes.
That's what I have to say.
And along those lines, one tip that I think maybe it was earlier this year, that I talked to someone. I can't remember if I just talked to someone or if I read it, but on your website, if you have an about section, the about section, a lot of sites will have that be the first thing that you see when you go to their website. That should be the last thing, or one of the last things that is able to be seen on your website, because if the person is interested in whatever it is that you're doing, they will take that extra step to find out about you, but first you need to talk about them.
Absolutely. There's another really interesting thing that I've heard, which is the I/you ratio.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at your post or you look at your marketing materials, think about how many times you talk about I, my company, my brand, versus you, my client.
Mm-hmm.
You should be talking about you much more than you're talking about me.
Yeah.
So when you're selling, you should still be talking about the customer so much more than you're talking about yourself.
Yes. Because that's one thing too, that if you're not sure about any of this stuff, if you don't have a person like Becky to call upon, you probably know 2 or 3 or 4 friends that you can get together, and you don't even have to get them together in a physical sense,
right?
But you can maybe send an email out to 3 or 4 people and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about as a pitch. What do you think about it? Get some feedback.
Yes.
If you're not sure, get some feedback. It's always nice to get outside opinions, like you talked about before.
Absolutely. It's so much easier just because they're not going to be as close. Like, we get this tunnel vision.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, for myself personally, I have a proofreader that proofs every single thing that I do, even though I'm pretty solid with my proofing skills and my editing skills. I always have a proofreader because it's super hard to judge your own work.
I got one called my wife. I don't use that for regular posts and stuff, but like if I'm making a blog or something, like before I post it, I'm like, hey, I'm sorry to bug you. Can you read this? Like,
because it's so hard. Like, your brain just fills it in correctly.
Yes.
So just pick people who you know. Like, we all know we have like 2 or 3 friends that we go to when we want like super total naked honesty. Like, you know who those people are in your life.
And I will say this about you: you have to be open to the feedback that you receive. If you're gonna put it out there, you ask for honest opinions and critiques, you have to be big enough to accept the feedback that you receive and figure out how to improve on those points that people are pointing out, because they're just trying to help you if you ask for that type of assistance.
So, random question. I know we both do different sports. I do CrossFit and you do your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Mm-hmm. I have a really hard time with that. Have you found that since you started that sport, it's been easier for you to take feedback in like other areas?
My whole life has improved.
Yes.
Like, I'm always laid back anyway, but like I was saying, I relate a lot of what I do in life and business to jiu-jitsu. Like, a lot of people want success. People want that instant gratification.
Yes.
People see all these other people doing stuff on social media and whatever, and like artists who want to, they want to be singers or rappers or whatever it is. They see all these people, but they don't see the work, the behind the scenes work that played into that.
Yes.
Like, I can't start doing jiu-jitsu being a black belt.
Right.
There's no way. That takes like 10, 15 years to accomplish.
Yes.
Like, you have to put in work. So, like, just my whole life, it makes me so much more, like, relaxed, confident, and just happy. When I go and I put in that work, it makes me feel just so relaxed. Even if I'm tired. Like, that is so good to have. So I try to relate that, like, okay, well, if I can't do that in jiu-jitsu, I can't do that at work.
Right.
It's the same.
Yes.
The concept of it is the same.
Yes.
The action is different, but the concept, it translates. So
I feel like that too. I feel like I started doing CrossFit at exactly the same time that I started my business.
mm-hmm.
So that was an interesting choice because I was working 60 hours a week and I was also, exhausted from starting a new sport. And I had never been athletic. I still don't think I'm athletic, but I really wasn't before that. But I just feel like it's made me so much better and like it's made it so much easier. I can be a little bit egotistical sometimes, so it's hard for me to take feedback well, and having to be in that situation. And fortunately I had a coach who's just like really we have amazing coaches there, but one in particular especially doesn't care if you don't like him, which is a weird thing to say, but like you're putting out max effort, you're lifting these heavy weights and they correct you on a form. It's hard to take that well. And so having him be there and just continually be willing to give you those corrections has really helped me as a business owner and as an employee for, as somebody who works for my clients and who wants to serve them. It's helped me learn how to kill my ego even when you're tired.
Yes.
Even when you're exhausted. You can kill your ego, let it go, and just figure out why they want to give you the feedback and accept it.
Yes. And I feel like if you were humbled.
Yes.
Like, so let me put it in this perspective. Like, as a man, I don't know how, I'm only a man. I've never been a woman to my recollection. So I can only speak from my perspective. But as a man, sometimes that ego or pride or whatever it is, like, you're like, man, nobody can, beat me up. If I ever got in a fight, I'd do this, that, and the other. Well, you go to jujitsu, and so like let me give you like an idea of what it is. So like I weigh like 230. I'm short. I'm like a small dude, short, but I'm stocky. I got a gut. I'm like 230. I can go to the dojo and get handled by a guy who's 150 pounds, no problem. Like in tap, I will tap. Like when you are able to be humbled, because before you're like, oh man, if this happens. Everybody can fight until they get punched in the mouth. That's the saying. Like everybody can fight until you get punched in the mouth.
Yep.
When you get punched in the mouth and you like have never been punched in the mouth before, you don't know how you're going to react. So when you go into a space like this and you see what it is, like you cannot afford to have an ego, because that's how you're going to get hurt.
Yeah. Yep.
You have to be able to say, okay, I tap. I don't care if it's, let me say, to a woman. Like sometimes some people, you get guys, they feel like their manhood is being challenged because they're in that space with a woman. Look, I don't care if it's a man, a woman, a kid, whoever. If they're getting ready to choke me and I'm about to go out, if my eyes are closing, I'm a tap. Like, yeah. I don't care. So it's so great to have that experience and be humbled there. But I feel like overall, it makes you less of a jerk. Like when you know that you can be beat, it's easier to like you said, take those criticisms and things and take a step back and look how you can improve. Yeah,
absolutely. You could even, it could be a case where I'm 100% right about something and my client says we don't want to do that, and so I can even use that, and it can't come from a place where there's a lot of ego and a lot of pride. It has to come from a place where it's very humble and it's very, very much just me trying to do what's best for the client. And so even the process of learning how to come back and say, no, I disagree with you and this is why, but do it in a way that's respectful, that's good communication skills. That's so important, being somebody in business, learning how to do that. And so I feel like there's so many things that you kind of tie together.
Yep. Everything's connected. Everything's connected.
Yep.
And I do want to take a step back to something you said a little bit ago.
Oh, okay.
60 hours a week, and I was wanting to ask you.
Yes.
So you're managing, a lot of content and things for other businesses and companies.
Okay.
This is your full-time gig now.
Yeah.
So how much time are you devoting to this, and how do you find enough time to do this plus the other things in life that you do?
That's a really good question. First of all, one of the primary goals for the rest of the year for me personally is time management, because I feel like I could always be improving in that. Yeah. Yep. That's
probably
time
a
management.
Negative too about social media sometimes.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Because I always have to be on there, but then I also always want to be on there.
You can't get sucked in.
And I love it. That's why I'm passionate about it. Mm-hmm. So But here's one of the secrets that I have learned and that it actually does, I feel like, make a big difference is, especially when you own a business and you set, like, you know, some places they own a business and they have set hours and they are open from 10 to 6. Some people are like me and you own a business and you work from home. I work from home. My commute is, you know, 10 feet into my office,
that
into my
nice.
second bedroom. And it's not bad. But it's also like, it makes it really easy to say, oh, I'll get to this later. So here are my 2 tips for productivity that I absolutely love. First of all, I set what I call anchor points in my day. So I will sign up for a CrossFit class at noon, or I'll make an appointment, or I'll set a phone call with a client, or I'll make an offsite appointment like this. And then I say, okay, and I try to do it midday, like right around noon or 1, but it's kind of whenever it works. And I say, okay, I have to get X done before I get to that appointment. And so setting those anchor points, I feel like, really helps me ground my time management, because it's so easy, especially for me and people who work from home, to be like, oh, you know, I can do this accounting at midnight on a Saturday. And I've been there, by the way, quite a bit. Yep. Like, I'll just do my own social media at, you know, 1 o'clock on a Saturday morning. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
And so you have to, like, set those anchor points. And the other thing I do is I actually try to, like, our instincts are to clear the calendar when we have a big project. But time management to me is a lot like, you know how gas fills the container, the size of the container that you put it in. Mm-hmm. And so projects tend to fill the size of the container that we put them in. So by filling up our day with improv class and CrossFit, and I have 3 client calls today, that helps me focus in when I have those 2 to 3 hour stretches in between, where I say, okay, I have to get this client social done in this 2-hour time period, instead of saying I have 8 hours to do it.
Yeah. Because
essentially you're going to spend the same amount of actual time doing it. This just focuses that time into a, you know, good 2-hour period.
Yeah. See, that's good. There's so much good stuff. Look, I often feel like this, and I don't know if it's a me thing, because I've been known to talk a lot.
I've literally never heard that.
But I just feel like this conversation could go on forever. Like, I mean, there's just so much good content here.
So many cool things that we can learn from each other.
Yes, and that's just, when you find people like that, that's one great thing about getting out of your circle and being open to, you don't have to go to networking events and things like that if you don't want to meet different people.
No.
Because you already know people. Like, everybody knows somebody.
Yes.
So, and for me, a lot of times, you know, people ask, what do you do? And I'm like, well, there's a couple of different things that I do. Or they'll be like, so how much do you make from that? I'm like, it's not really about making the money. If I do a good job, the money will come. Like, that's not my focus.
Right.
And that's why, for me, I still have a full-time job. But now it's like getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I could see this being a full-time thing. But, you know, it's okay to get out of your box, man. That's like, meet new people. I mean, even if it's not your thing, there's some way that you can help yourself. And maybe it's just, you might be in a position where you need help or guidance, and someone might be able to, like, lend a hand.
Sure.
So it's all, like, don't limit yourself to thinking that you can't ask someone else for assistance. Whether it's a professional or not, like, just, if you need help, ask for help.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, but it's great to have people like this, especially as a business owner. Non-business owners cannot always relate to the things that you're talking about. So if you can surround yourself with like-minded individuals, everybody can lean on one another and raise each other up when someone is down and they need that extra support, because you know ultimately where that person is coming from, and you may have been there before.
Yes.
So it's great to have people like this.
Oh, stop.
But it's a great asset, and I think maybe sometimes people don't put enough focus on that. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people feel like, and this is just me throwing this out there as a thought, but a lot of people feel like they can only accomplish their goals if they put it all on their back and do it themselves.
Yes.
But that's not what it's about.
No, I feel like that makes it that much harder.
Yes. Why would you want to, like, have all that burden alone.
Yeah, because it's like you want the control, but that's just an illusion. Like, you're never actually going to have that control.
Yes.
And by bringing more people in and bringing the right people in, and you have to be careful about it, so smart about it, but like the more people you can bring in, the stronger the end result is going to be.
And that goes into knowing your strengths and your weaknesses.
Absolutely.
If you know that you're not good at something, like we talked about earlier, I'm not good at like video and editing and things like that. So, and I don't even care to do that stuff. I don't like. So if What's Up Omaha ever progresses, I will not be doing that work. I will at some point. I'm actually in talks with a couple of people about helping grow that portion, because I don't have a heart for that. That's not where my passion is. My passion is this.
Yes, and I just brought somebody in, and I am now at the point in my business where I'm exactly where you are in terms of like what are the things that I'm doing that are actually driving growth versus what are the things that I'm doing because I am trying to keep control and a tight hold on things, and I'm starting to let go. So I just brought somebody in to help me just do some admin stuff.
Yes, and if they are good at that, if she knows that she doesn't have a passion for admin work, and there's somebody out there who like loves doing that type of work, why would she not reach out to that person to assist her? It only makes sense.
I'm asking myself why I didn't do this about 6 months ago.
Yeah, and I can understand that. I mean, as Small Guy Promotions, doing a lot of the stuff on my own, and sometimes it is that being in control thing. I think that's one thing that I learned about myself, is that I like to be in control. Like, if it wasn't my idea, sometimes it's hard for me to. I don't like when people reach out to me that I don't know and give me a suggestion. Like, if we don't have any history, like, and if I didn't ask for that, like, it's okay to give like feedback and things like that, but don't tell me that you have an idea about what we could do. I'm like, I don't even know you.
Like, there is a time and a place for that. after, but you have to make that initial contact.
Yes.
And say, hey, let's just chat. And I've heard a really good piece of advice, which is say yes to everything that you can.
Yes.
Say yes to things.
I've heard that too.
Even if it's, odd. I think for me especially, I tend to be a little bit awkward in social situations sometimes. I'm a little uncomfortable maybe. But even if it's something that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, there's always potential to meet somebody that you have no idea what they could do for your business, or they could do for your life, or what you could do for them.
Yep. And that definitely is a thing. And for me, early on, I had a couple of experiences with people, like since I do the events and things like that, where I had to shut it down and say I won't do this anymore. I'm not helping anyone else coordinate any of their events, because people that I don't know. Let me clarify. People that I don't know, because I've had instances where there's a lot of people who aren't really doing what they say they're going to do when they're putting events together, and they're just taking people's money, and it's kind of like fraud or sham. And I've had people contact me asking me if I knew vendors for like that I could refer to them for events. I won't do that anymore. I'm not putting the name of Small Guy on the line and my reputation because I referred someone to someone who turns out to be fraudulent.
Yes.
So that is one thing that I won't do anymore. But there is a time and a place, like you said. There are people who I would love to help find, vendors for things. But you just have to be, with everything, you have to be cautious.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Do your due diligence.
Yeah,
make sure it's right.
Listen to that. Just pay attention to that, your gut, your inner voice. But you're never going to find those like one or two. It's kind of like when you. I don't know if you guys ever go thrift store shopping. I'm obsessed with it. I love thrift store shopping. So it's like going to a thrift store. You're gonna find a lot of stuff, and one or two of those things are gonna be so cool, like the perfect thing that you were looking for.
Yeah.
You have to meet a lot of people to find the one or two that are gonna be just those like perfect gems that are gonna be a perfect match for what you're doing.
Yeah. That's just weigh everything out.
Yep.
You got to put thought into everything. So
true story.
We have been going for a while, and like I said, we could go all day. But so we're gonna start to wrap it up. But as Small Guy is for the small guy, what tip or advice do you have for the small mom and pop shop that is trying to make a way and to increase their awareness and their reach in whatever space they're in, but they think that they don't have the time or the funds to incorporate some kind of professional assistance with their social media or their marketing?
Okay. Yeah, I think if I had to pick 3 things, I would say the first thing is just to get started, because that's where you learn. And just be really consistent about it. So even if you're posting 3 times a week, it's just, it's ride or die 3 times a week. That's how often you're going to post, and just hit that number every single time. So just start doing it, be really consistent. And then as soon as possible, start to bring other people in. So start to bring in, maybe some of your employees and get them in on the game. And make that a small part of their responsibilities. Or bring in a consultant, someone who can help you. Oh, sorry. It's our fly. Bring in a consultant.
It was in right here.
Somebody who can help you, just even if it's just a small engagement where they can, I have packages that are one-time starter packages where I hand you the keys and I set stuff up and then hand the keys over. So just bring in somebody as soon as possible, and then just always make sure that you're putting your customer first when you're coming up with your post. It's not about you. It's not about your business. It's about your customer and what you can do for them.
That's some great advice.
Thank you.
So, if this mom and pop shop did want to get a hold of Elephant Key Marketing, how can they do that?
I would recommend sending an email to Becky, BECKY, at ek.marketing, like elephantkey.marketing.
Real quick, how did you come up with the name Elephant Key? Before we go,
I love that. Do you see I'm wearing my key necklace today? I don't know if you guys can tell. So one of the things that Matt Hussey talks about is how elephants are symbolic of emotions. It's kind of a centuries-old symbol of emotions, and every buying decision at its core is an emotional decision. We buy based on emotions, not based on logic. Otherwise, we'd all be driving Camrys instead of a Lexus. Yeah. Right? So, my job as a good marketer is to unlock emotions that drive customer action. So, Elephant Key.
Boom. There you go. Got it. Unlocked. She got the key.
I got it.
That's what it is. So, again, thank you guys so much if you've tuned in. Please share this video with your friends if you've enjoyed any piece of it. If you know someone who has a business and they're looking for solutions for the problems that they're having with raising awareness about their product or their business, whatever it is, please share this information. I've tagged Elephant Key Marketing in this post, so you can just click right on that. It should be in bold letters. If you're not really savvy with Facebook, you can go ahead and click on the name, and it'll take you to her page, and her information will be there as well. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and have a wonderful weekend. Please share. This will be up on YouTube and the Anchor app in the next week or so, as we do with most of our videos. I try to make sure to say this, but smile, help someone else smile, laugh, and help someone else laugh. And that's what it is. Thank you guys.
Love it. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Peace out.
Talk to you.
Yeah.